Hello my fellow crafters and welcome back to David's Craft Room. I'm David and this is my craft room. Now in my craft room we do a lot of different projects using a Cricut. And we will today as well. And today is the first project I'm gonna make for my Christmas decoration. Now I saw this fun saying on designbundles.net and I loved it. So I downloaded that sign and we're gonna use that today. And I'm gonna show you how you can make alterations to existing files, how to upload it, how to change it around to what you like. And this is the project that we're gonna make today. It's a fun hanger. You can hang it on a door. You can use it as a door hanger. You can hang it on the wall. But yeah, as long as we have wine, the holidays will be fine. Don't drink too much during cricketing because that will not go well. Let me tell you that. But anyway, if you want to know how I made this, please hang in there. And while we're at it, please subscribe to my channel so you will not miss any of the future videos that I'm going to make. I'm going to be making videos, in-depth tutorials about Cricut, about Design Space and how to use it, how to work with it. So if you want to learn more about that, definitely subscribe to my channel. Now, without any further ado, let's dive in and make this fun Christmas decoration. Have fun! Okay, welcome to Design Space. Here's the design that I'm going to be making. I'm going to show you how I got to this. It's slightly different than the original. First, we need to upload an image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the left and click on Upload. Then I'm going to say Upload Image. And then you can do several things. You can browse or you can go to your Explorer or Finder. Now, in this case, I'm on a Mac, so it's Finder. And you select your image. Now, this is a folder from the download file and it has several files in it. Now, what we want to do is look for the file called SVG. That's this one. So it's dbwine.svg. And I'm going to click on that and drag it over to Design Space. Let go. And then it's already uploaded. Now we don't have the choice for print and cut. It's a cut image. So we don't have to do anything here. Then we go to the right bottom and click on Upload. Then we have our image here in our recent uploads. We click on it and at the bottom, next to the cancel and add to canvas buttons, you can see it's selected. And then we can go to add to canvas. And it will upload the file onto our canvas in Design Space. Now, as you can see, it's way too big and it has some details on it that I don't want for this design. And it has different colors. We're going to be fixing all that. But before we're going to do that, I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to make a template. And the template I'm going to be making is going to be very simple. I will click on Shapes, then on a square, and then I'm going to do that again. So I'll click on Shapes and click on another square. Next, what we need to do is we need to adjust these two because I want sort of a template of my bottle. So I'm going to click on the square and hit this button at the bottom. What this does, you can see it opens the lock and this means you can now change the dimensions of it. So I know the bottom of my bottle is going to be 10.5 centimeters, that is wide. And the height, I need to be approximately 25 centimeters. So there we have the bottom of our bottle, but now we need the neck. And that's what the second square comes in. So what I'm going to do is select my second image, my second square, I must say, hit this unlock aspect ratio button. You can see the lock is open now. You can see it here and you can also see it here at the top. So you can click on it below the image, but also here you can unlock that aspect ratio or unlock proportions as Design Space calls it. Then I'm going to type in a width of 4 centimeters and a height of 15 centimeters. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that is attached to the right place. There we go. I'm going to select both of these squares. And you select it by just clicking on the canvas and dragging over the two images. Click on Align here in the menu. And I'm going to click on Center Horizontally. Now this is perfectly in the middle. Now with these both still selected, I'm going to come down here to the bottom right. You have slice, weld, attach, flatten. I want to weld this together so it's one image. So I'm going to click on weld. Now what I also want to do is change this color to white because my background is going to be white. There we have it. Now this is my template. And as you can see, way too big. Now what I like about these SVGs from Design Bundles, you can still adjust them to your own liking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the right and you see here Ungroup. I'm going to click on that. And now these are all loose elements and you can see all the elements here in the bar on the side. Now this is an element I don't want in this case. So I'm going to click on the little eye here and that will hide it. And if I ever decide I want it back, I can just click on it again. You can delete it, but then it's gone forever. And this way, you will not see it as well. Now I want to change the colors of this. Now you can do that by going to Color Sync, but I will make a separate video about that. The easier way for now for me is to select here in my panel the different elements that I want to have the same color. So with my Shift key pressed down on my keyboard, I will click on these different layers. Now you can see here as well that it's selecting them. I want this, the same color, and I also want the green bow to be the same color. So I've got these all selected now. And I'm coming up now to the operation area, which is here. And you can see a question mark. That question mark is there because there are several colors in there. So I'll click on that and I will just click on a red. Now these are all the same color. I'm going to cut out the glass of a piece of holographic vinyl. The rest is going to be a shiny vinyl. Okay, now we've got that done. I need to fit this on my template. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to take my template and bring that to the back. There are several ways you can do it. You can right click, move backward or send to back, or you can click, select your image and click on arrange and send to back. First I'm going to size down so that everything fits in there. I want these two to fit in there as well. We're just gonna drag everything over here, size it down. And then I'm just going to play around a bit. So I know I want this one here. I'm going to hit this button to unlock the aspect ratio. I'm just going to elongate this a bit. Next, I'm going to take these two layers by pressing down Shift, and I will select them both, unlock the aspect ratio, and I will make these a bit longer as well. And I will go ahead and do that with all of them. So I think this is quite nice. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my glass of wine and the bow by dragging over them, click on it, and get that over here. Now, what I can see already is that it's slightly too big. I'm going to make it a tiny bit smaller. Not too much, because I know the neck of the bottle is a bit wider here. It's going out a bit like that, but that looks good to me. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my template out of the way a bit, and I'm going to select the text only first. So select all the text. Now these are all combined. And I'm gonna change the width of all of them to 10 centimeters because I know the width is 10.5 of my template. So now I will make sure that this fits. Next, I'm going to select everything. I'm going to click Align again and say Align horizontally. And this will make sure everything is aligned, looking good. And I can see there's a bit here that I'm not happy with, so I'm going to click on Fine and pull that down a tiny bit. Take Holidays up a bit and take Will Be up a bit so that this is no longer touching. And the next step is I'm going to be hiding my template. Now the next step is we have to make it, right? So what I'm going to do is click on Make It. And then it's asking us, do we want to cut without a mat, on a mat, or multiple ways? In this case, I'm not going to use Smart Vinyl, so I'm going to say I'm going to cut on the mat. So I click on that, you see it's selected, and hit Done. Now we can go and check our mats, and we can see that this is not going to cut out the way we want it. We made this beautiful design, and now it's all over the place. But we can fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Cancel and go back to our canvas. Now what we want is all the red pieces to be cut out in the shape we have them here. So what we're going to do is going to select all and hit Group. Will this fix our problem? Let's have a look. Click on Make It. Click on Mat, Done. No, it's still all over the place. So I'm going to hit Cancel again. Why is that? Because it's grouped. It's together, right? Yeah, it's grouped on your mat. So you can move it around on your canvas. You can resize everything. You can arrange, etc., etc. You can do an offset on it, but it's not grouped on your mat. What we need to do is attach. Now, if I do all of this selected and hit Attach, will that work? No, because then it will attach everything and will make everything one color. And we already decided we did not want that. So we're going to come up here and hit Undo. So I'm going to go to my Layers panel, and with my Shift key pressed down, I'm going to hit the different layers. All the red layers that I want to be cut out together, I'm going to click on. Next, I'm going to go down here where you see Attach, and I'm going to click Attach. Now what will happen is that everything will be cut out the way we want it. So I'm going to click Make It. I'm going to click on the mat. Click Done to proceed. And here we see that it's all in the place where we want it. So I'm going to turn on my machine and then I'm going to press Continue. Right, so for the first mat, I'm going to say Browse all materials because this is a holographic vinyl. So I'm going to search here for holographic. And here we see a lot of different types of materials with holographic in it, and I'm going to look for the one that I'm premium vinyl holographic. That's the one. I'm going to click on that and click Done. Then we move over to our machine. Okay, so here I have a well-loved green mat, and I'm going to put my holographic vinyl on the green mat. I've got a small scrap piece, but it's more than enough. Put it on there. Get my brayer. And make sure it's on there, nice and firm. I'm going to open up my Cricut. Now what I always like to do is line it up at the left side of this guide. Put it in there and then hit these flashing arrows. It will straighten the mat. And then I will hit the flashing play button once it comes up. There we go. And we're going to let it cut, do its thing. And it's done. Now using my weeding tool, I'm going to check if it's really cut. I'm going to pick up a corner. And I can see it's cut beautiful. So I'm going to press this flashing arrow button and it'll unload the mat. For the next piece, I still need to select my material because this material is different than the material we used for the first one. This was the holographic one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use washi sheet. The reason for that is that I know with my machine this cuts out perfectly. However, you need to figure out what that is for your machine. When I use Cricut vinyl, I always use the Cricut settings for that. But this is not a Cricut brand vinyl, and I know this one works the best with the washi sheet setting. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to hit more pressure, because I know washi sheet with more pressure works the best. Then I'm going to go back to my machine and make sure it'll cut out. Right, so you've selected the right setting, and I'm going to put I've got my red vinyl on my mat, and I'm going to put it in a machine. So I'm going to line it up on the left side, push it up to the rollers, the gray rollers, and hit the flashing arrow button. Now the machine will pull it through, straighten the mat, and when it's ready, I will hit that play button, and it will start to cut. Okay, the machine has finished cutting and I will have a look. You can see this now, but I can see it cut out perfectly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit this flashing button, unload, and then it's time to assemble our decor. Okay, before we start with the vinyl, I have to put some gesso on it. And this is an MDF board in the shape of a wine bottle. And I'm going to use the Dutch Dubadoo gesso in white. You can use any gesso, I guess. This is the one I had. And I'm going to first take my brush. It's quite a big brush, but hey, I like big brushes. And I'm going to dip it in and just put a coat on there. And gesso is sort of your primer for your wood. It seals the wood so that no moisture can come out of it, come through it, sorry. But it also helps with the acrylic paint adhering to it. Okay, so that's the first coat on there, and I'm going to leave this to dry and then see if it needs another coat, and then I'm going to put the acrylic paint on top of that. And then we're going to let that cure for a day before I stick on the vinyl. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to peel this off the mat, and I'm going to do that by turning over my mat and let gravity help. So I'm going to take the mat off the vinyl and don't take the vinyl off the mat. This will help prevent curling of the vinyl. I'm going to put the mat to the side. I'm going to take my big scissors and I'm going to cut off what we don't need. I'm going to put this to the side. That's going to go in the scrap bin. Next, I'm going to take a scraper tool. This is not a Cricut one. This is a one that I use from paint as well. But it's silicone and it will not scratch your materials. I'm going to varnish this down a bit from the back. Because it's shiny material, I don't want it to be scratched. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Next, I'm going to take my weeding tool. I'm going to peel a corner from there. And very slowly start weeding this off. But it has cut beautifully. On an angle. And you can see the A not playing along and the E as well. So I will put it back, press down with my tool, and there we have it. And I will do the same with there we go. Now that weeded quite easy. Now to weed out the tiny bits, I've got this tool. It has a needle at the top. There we have it. I think I've got it all. Next, I'm going to take my holographic piece and I'm going to do the same. Just going to take a corner, take my other weeding tool, actually. Press that down a bit. Hold it in place. There we go. Already done. And weed out these tiny little things. It's cut beautiful. As usual, I never have issues with how the machine cuts, and actually on a regular base, when it doesn't cut well, it was a user error and not as much the machine. But that's in my case. I know there are issues with Design Space. I'm just lucky enough that it hasn't happened to me in the time that I've been using it. So the next step is I'm going to use some transfer sheet. In this case, I'm going to use transfer paper. I've got this big roll. Now, I'm using this transfer paper because I don't want it to stick too hard to my blank. This blank, you saw already that I've put a coat of gesso on it and then I covered it with a coat of acrylic paint, matte acrylic paint. Now, normally I would let this dry for at least a day before I'm using it. However, impatient me, I don't have time for that, so I'm gonna be using it now. But it's always a good thing to consider when you have some painted wood that you don't use very sticky transfer sheet. Now what you could do is, if you have a very sticky transfer sheet, is just stick it to your clothes a couple of times and that will take the majority of the stickiness off. Now what I like to do is put the transfer sheet down on my work surface, sticky side up, take my vinyl and like a taco, press it on there, take my scraper tool and varnish it on there. From the back and from the front, I'm going to peel this up. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my scissors and trim this down drastically. So I'm going to cut really close along the edge of my transfer tape And why is that? The least amount of transfer tape that you have on there, the least likely you will damage your paint. So just gonna cut around like that, and this part is ready to go on. Make a taco and put it on there. I'm going to turn it around and do it the same way as we took the vinyl off the mat. This time I'm taking the backing from the transfer paper. As you can see, it transfers very easily. Okay, we're all done. So I'm gonna get my blank out, and I've got my piece. And what I'm gonna do from the center, press it down, just do it like this. What I'm gonna do now first is I'm gonna use my fingers on the text, because I don't want this transfer tape to be completely stuck down to the painted surface. Now, do we have a guarantee it will not happen? No, because it's me. But very slowly, I'm going to start peeling this down, and I'm going to hold down some pieces that do not want to stay down. But so far, it's going well. Like over here. We have it. And no peeled paint. Yay! So next I'm going to take my glass and I have to line that up. Now that's going to be quite easy because this is see-through. However, there's one thing I need to do, and which is something that's completely user error. This part needs to be on top. I'm peeling that off, putting it back on a piece of paper here. There we have it. Then I'm going to put this on. Sorry, my head is a bit in the way. Press it down, varnish it down with my thumb. And then I'm gonna take my piece of red that was underneath and just put it on top. There we have it. Now we have all our layers of vinyl on there. I love that sparkle of the holographic. Next, what I'm gonna do, I have this ribbon here that I'm going to be putting on top. Now, how am I gonna make a loop? I'm gonna look at the size that I want. I like it like this. Cut it off. Fold it with the two flat sides. Now, this is the pretty side of the ribbon, and I want that to come from the back so we can actually hang it like this. So I'm gonna take that, fold this together, put it on the back, and then I've got this stapler. You can also use a hot glue machine, but I like staplers. They're easy. And put it on there. I'm gonna take some of this ribbon, put it on the, and just around his neck, and make a pretty bow. Sorry. And here is our finished hanger. As long as we have wine, the holidays will be fine. Can we get it in frame? I will make a picture and put it up at the end of the video. This was a fun project to make with some easy techniques in Design Space that I hope I was able to explain to you. The final layering is quite nice and I really love how this turned out. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider to subscribe to my channel. And while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you will not miss out any of my future videos. And there's a lot of fun things coming up on the channel, so I hope to see you again. Thank you for watching and see you for the next one. Bye.